Reason for that is because we have our own Texas boat driver over here. All right. Yeah.
You're excited?
Excited.
Other boats. We come pretty close to the riverbank too, so keep everything inside. And we do carry 43 life jackets in case of a real emergency. They're right here, underneath these doors by my hill. We've never used them. This is every man's nightmare. There's like one bench in there, guys. If you take a good look around, you'll understand why it won the Architect Award when it opened up in 1988, surrounding us with over 36,000 square feet of glass. There's a total of 10 malls in this city. So if you don't see the store you like, be a mall. The only problem was they're not allowed to tear down historical buildings. So guys, when I say they moved it, they actually moved the entire building. In 1985, they jacked it up, set it on top of these specially made dollies and rolled it down the street 6 blocks. About a block a day. It took them 6 days to move it to the corner of South Alamo and Claremont. How they actually moved the building. Broke a world's record. Did you know that San Antonio's population is a little over 2.2 million? Making it the 7th largest city in the United States population-wise. These past couple of years, we've seen an increase in our population we haven't seen in years. Let me show you who we named the city after. Look to the right. Right there across the sidewalk, there's a statue holding a child on his hand. Very healthy child. Look, he's got abs and everything. San Antonio de Padua. That was a gift from Portugal when we hosted the World's Fair event in 1968. That's what introduced this city to tourism. Just got restored a couple of months ago. St. Joseph's, built in 1868, surrounded in all 3 walls by the mall. Built by the Germans so they could have mass in their own language. And they still do. Hello there. Everybody wave at them. Those are my fans. And every last Sunday of every month, you'll find an all-men German choir singing hymns in there along with the German mass. You can go in there if you like. You'll notice everything inside is written in German too. If any of you ever want to move here or open up a business in this city, please contact this brown brick building on the right, Chamber of Commerce. Opened up here in 1980. They'll give you wonderful information about neighborhoods you might be interested in, or if you're going to open up a business, they'll let you know where it can be more prosperous. This message has been good. Guess what we call it? We call it the San Antonio River. See how creative we are around here? Been here over 45,000 years now. What this river does when it flows through the downtown area forms like a horseshoe bend. Picture us in the middle of the horseshoe bend that the river forms. When we come back, we're gonna come back from the right side of the bend. Right now it's a one-way through here. We gotta make a left turn, so follow me. Right up there to the left and you'll get a great view of the Hilton Palacio del Rio. That means Palace of the River in Spanish, but a lot of us locals call it the Lego block building. You guys see how those rooms stick out like Legos? You'll get a better view of it once we get past the bridge. It was actually constructed in that unique form. All 500 rooms were fully manufactured and prefabricated 8 miles south of the city limit. And as soon as they could, they started bringing the rooms into town with flatbed trucks, hoisted them up there with like Legos, one room on top of the other. They got so good at it, it only took 202 days to complete 500-room hotel. That was unheard of. Broke a world record. Another world record was broken here. And what a coincidence, it opened built by the Germans in the 1820s and 1830s, those 2 decades. That's when the Germans dominated this city. Now it's all part of La Villita. That means little village in Spanish, the most historic section of our city. That was the first neighborhood out here. Some housing that date back to the 1700s built by the Spaniards. Like that one, right there at the top of the steps, dates back to 1722. That's actually the house where Santa Anna stayed in during the Battle of the Alamo. He was sitting right up there with the cannons facing towards the Alamo from here. And those are not only steps, we use them as bleachers. Look across the river to the right, you'll find the stage. We call it the Arneson River Theater. Named it after Edward P. Arneson, who was the chief engineer of the Riverwalk. That was his own personal project out here. Some of you might recognize it. You ever seen the movie Miss Congeniality with Sandra Bullock? They filmed part of the movie out here. I remember it like yesterday. I was here. The day before they were about to film, they were getting everything set up. And I was given a tour passing by there, and there she was, Sandra Bullock, right there on the few Longhornies driving up the riverbank. We dedicated this statue to the first cattle drive that took place from San Antonio to New Orleans. Call them El Camino de Galvez. That was the name of the trail that ran from here to New Orleans. Right behind them, that limestone building on the right opened up in 1930. That was the first public library here in San Antonio, now known as the Briscoe Western Art Museum. You guys like cowboy stuff? Go in there, don't miss out. They got a lot of cowboy memorabilia. One of my favorite pieces in there is an original Wells Fargo stagecoach from the 1880s. They have it fully restored right there inside their lobby. But Esa Street Bridge we're about to pass right underneath of was we have a dam right there in place of the bridge. When we had the dam, it caused this little island to form on the right here with the iron ornamental structure. It's very special to the city because it was dedicated to Father Damien Massenet. That's the guy that named this river back in June 13, 1691. Now known as Marriage Island. There's couples from around the top of the building. The original owners were said to be a little superstitious, not only because of the gargoyles. Take a look down here, right there above the tree line between the first and second floor. Some ugly looking faces. You can't miss them. They remind me of my in-laws. That was wrong, I know. We call them grotesque. They're supposed to wear off evil spirits and bad business along with the gargoyles, but it didn't work. Because they opened up in 1929, that infamous year when the stock market crashed. These guys lost the building the same year it opened up. After investing $3.5 million, they turned around, sold it to Sears for a little over. Over here on the right, we got the International Trade Center where trading business is done every day among Canada, United States, and Mexico. Down there at the basement, you'll find the old marina where we dock our boats at nighttime. We have 43 boats in our fleet right now. Right there in front of us is one of the more interesting buildings you'll find here in downtown. That big red building been around since 1896, still operating as Bexar County Courthouse, the oldest and the largest county courthouse in the state of Texas. I've only been there 2 times. That's pretty good, right? Just 2 times. Before we go underneath this arch with the green light, look on both sides of the river, right above water level. There's some shiny metal scrapings we're passing by on both sides along the walls, where a gate rises up from underneath the water, like a drawbridge. That's how we prevent this end of the horseshoe bend from overflooding. Remember earlier I mentioned how the river forms a horseshoe bend? Picture us leaving it. The natural flow continues to the left, guys, southbound, another 240 miles, all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. I can't take you that far. Let me show you why. Look back there. You see fish from all the tribes. This was just one tribe. So the chief tried to explain to him, I don't control the other tribes, but I can show you how to talk to them. They also want peace. A little Indian boy, about 10 years old, was learning to be a warrior. He got nervous, let go of the arrow, and arrow went straight into the heart of the judge. Killed him instantly, so they massacred the entire tribe there. In 1853, 13 years after that, all the tribes showed up with the prisoners that they took. They finally signed up the day Prohibition ended, right at midnight with a fully stocked bar. Rumor has it, they already had the liquor in there. It was known as the Esquire Barber Shop. Guys went in there for a haircut every day. Over here to the left, this building survived the flood in 1921 I mentioned to you earlier. Opened up that same year, right before the flood. Used to be the city public service building. To give you an idea how high the water level reached here, see the second set of windows? Right underneath it. It was touching the bottom of the second set of windows. That's how high the water level reached. Wow. After the flood, it was completely ruined. So they added another 4 floors after they restored it. That's why the texture seems different up there. And during the summer of 1999, it opened up as the Brewery and Suites, what it is today. Over here in Texas, he even entered a contest looking like himself. Being the jokester that he won 3rd place looking like himself. Now they use it for concerts. They have live concerts here at the Aztec. Keep your eye to the right. Right next door, that white brick building was the original site for Franklin Saddle Company. By the late 1890s, 500 employees made the best saddles around the world. That's where Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders had their saddles made. Pancho Villa and his crew had a bunch of saddles made here. Every known cowboy, I bet you had a Franklin saddle in their collection. The cars came along, bumped them right out of business. At the end of 2004, that's when we opened it up as the Makura Hotel. Became the first 5-star hotel here at the Riverwalk. Did you guys see the bridge we just passed right underneath us? That's the most iconic bridge here on the Riverwalk, dedicated to Selena. You guys heard of her, the famous Tejano singer from Corpus Christi. Chris Bettis, her husband, proposed to her right there on that bridge in 1994. I'm sure you guys seen the movie with Jennifer Lopez. They filmed part of the movie there in 1996. And this beautiful building we're passing by to the left started out here with just 2 rooms. Back in 1853, became the first private school for boys. You can tell the school expanded, became co-ed, all the way up to a university. They ran out of room in 1966. That's when they moved a little further northwest from downtown. They have a much larger campus out there. St. Mary's University is doing fine. Former student bought out the building as soon as these guys moved out of here and turned it into La Mansion Hotel. That was one of the major hotels for the World's Fair in 1968. Well, get ready for an optical there towards the top of the building. Doesn't that seem like it's flat? I mean, it looks like a wall just standing all by itself. The next hospital, built in 1930 on a 65-degree angle. It's like a triangle, only 3 sides to the building. For the longest time, I thought it was a hospital for very skinny people. It was the birthplace of Oliver North, Henry Cisneros, and Carol Burnett were born there. It's not a hospital anymore. It's actually been empty almost 4 years now. They're going to turn it into a hotel pretty soon. You guys take a good look around this section of the Riverwalk. You can mostly find Americanized restaurants. That was the whole idea. The intentions were to put a bunch of Americanized restaurants in this area when they commercialized it in the mid-80s, known as the South Bank. And if you're at age 49, over here on the right, one of the first Art Deco buildings in San Antonio. The Casino Club building was built by the Germans so they could have their own private social club in San Antonio back in 1926. Now, There's a steakhouse right here in the first 2 floors. And the next 4 floors on up, those are apartments.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Alex Haley, you guys heard of him? The author of the book Roots? He used to live there. And Tommy Lee Jones, the movie star, he used to have an apartment up there. And we're leaving the South Bank area. We're in a different section of the Riverwalk. This is known as River Square, commercialized in 1976. Started out with just 2 restaurants out here, one on each side of the river. Look at it now. It's got to be the most congested spot with restaurants on the Riverwalk. You guys keep in mind, this is a 1 years old in 1927 when he introduced the whole idea of the Riverwalk. He had his office right there. Yeah, everybody made fun of him for having an office here. Back then, it was an alley. Imagine opening up an office in the middle of an alley. All these businesses brought their trash down here. City Bar used to pass up and down the river, picking up everybody's trash. This right, the artist Pedro Reyes. The only thing that's not volcanic rock is the stars, made out of marble. Calls it Stargazer. Supposed to remind everybody that mankind been looking up at the stars for guidance since day one. It's about to complete 2 years in September. It's fairly new. I got excited when I first saw it. I thought they put it there because the Dallas Cowboys were going to make it to the Super Bowl.
You're wrong with that one.